You put lipstick on this morning, maybe twice. You didn't think about it. Why would you? It's color. Except 7 of the most popular shades in American drugstores have tested positive for lead in independent lab screenings. Not trace contamination from a single bad batch. Documented, repeatable, confirmed across multiple audits. And the FDA has set 0, not a low limit, 0, maximum allowable level for lead in lip products. Meaning every one of these is technically legal. By the end of this video, you'll know all 7 by name and have 3 genuinely clean replacements. One regulatory gap connects all of it, and it's worse than the lead itself. You're standing at your bathroom mirror, lipstick in hand, same as every morning. 2 seconds, cap back on, done. You've done it so many times, it's completely automatic. That's the problem, because the products you do automatically are the ones you never actually look at. And right now, 7 of the most popular shades in American drugstores have something in their formulas that the brands have never put in the marketing. Starting with number 7, L'Oréal Color Riche. Independent lab analysis by the Campaign for Safe Cosmetics tested more than 33 lipsticks and detected lead in 61% of them. L'Oréal Color Riche appeared among the highest concentration results, with levels reaching up to 0.65 parts per million. Here's what makes that number personal. The FDA has no maximum allowable limit for lead in cosmetics. None. A product with detectable lead is fully legal in the United States. The European Union caps lead in cosmetics at 2 parts per million. The US cap is not lower. It does not exist. So when you've been applying this color every day, trusting that something this widely sold must have been checked, it has been. It passed. Not because it's safe, because there's no threshold to fail. Number 6. Maybelline Color Sensational. Lead doesn't get added to lipstick intentionally. It enters through contaminated colorant pigments, specifically certain reds and pinks derived from raw mineral sources. Maybelline Color Sensational variants appeared in multiple independent retests, flagged in the Campaign for Safe Cosmetics data, precisely because the deepest, most saturated shades carry the heaviest pigment load. The more intense the color, the higher the contamination risk. If you wear bold reds daily, you are in the highest daily exposure category on this list. And because manufacturers in the US are not required to test finished lip products for heavy metals before sale, there is no internal audit standing between the raw pigment and your lips. Number 5. Revlon Super Lustrous. Consumer Reports analysis and subsequent independent follow-ups flagged Revlon Super Lustrous shades for heavy metal content beyond lead alone. Trace cadmium and aluminum appeared in screened formulations. Cadmium is classified as a Group 1 carcinogen by the International Agency for Research on Cancer. The same category as tobacco smoke. The individual dose per application is small. But absorbed through lip contact, eating and drinking across years of daily wear, small stops meaning safe. Revlon has not publicly reformulated these lines in response to the findings. The products are unchanged. The data is unchanged. The only thing that's changed is that you now know it exists. But Revlon's contamination sits at the surface level. The next product doesn't just carry metals. It carries something that interferes with your body's hormonal signals. And it's hiding behind a prestige drugstore reputation built on exactly the kind of trust you're about to rethink. Here's where it gets harder to dismiss. Because everything in the first section is a contamination problem. Lead and cadmium enter through impure ingredients, and that's a supply chain failure. What comes next is different. These products don't just carry unsafe contaminants. They're formulated with ingredients that actively disrupt how your body regulates itself. That's not a manufacturing accident, that's a design choice. Number 4. CoverGirl Colorlicious. Multiple CoverGirl Colorlicious formulations contain butyrylparaben and propylparaben as preservatives. Parabens are endocrine disruptors. They mimic estrogen in the body. A 2012 study published in the Journal of Applied Toxicology detected intact parabens in breast tissue samples collected from patients. The absorption route matters here. Lips are among the most mucosal, absorptive surfaces on the body. You are not wearing this product. You are absorbing it multiple times a day in a formula whose preservative system your body reads as a hormonal signal it didn't ask for. CoverGirl's branding centers on confidence and self-expression. The formulation is doing something else underneath all of that. Number 3. NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream. NYX built its following on pigment density and long-wear performance, and those qualities come from a heavy colorant load and a formula built to stay put. Independent lab screenings found elevated manganese levels in several shades. In occupational health research, not cosmetics, but industrial exposure, chronic manganese exposure has been linked to neurological effects. The exposure pathway from cosmetics is different in magnitude. But when a product is applied to lips 2 to 4 times daily, the pathway exists. Beyond metals, several NYX formulations list only fragrance as a single ingredient, a term that legally conceals any number of undisclosed compounds, some of which appear on California's Proposition 65 list of known sensitizers and hormone disruptors. The word fragrance on a lip product label is not a scent description. It's a legal blank. Number 2. NARS lipstick. You pay more for NARS because the assumption is that the price reflects stricter standards. Independent screenings have found detectable lead in NARS shades. At least one third-party audit flagged a formulation for chromium content above levels considered appropriate for daily oral exposure by some international standards. Chromium 6-ic, the hexavalent carcinogenic form, is distinct from the trivalent form used in cosmetics. But processing and contamination can introduce conversion. Paying prestige prices is not the same as paying for safety testing. There is no U.S. regulatory requirement that makes that true. The price is for the brand. The testing is something you have to find yourself, and right now, you're finding it. But even NARS is not the worst documented product on this list. Number 1 has a paper trail that goes back over a decade, formal consumer advocacy petitions submitted to the FDA, and it is still, today, one of the best-selling lipstick lines in the world. Number 1, MAC Retro Matte. MAC Retro Matte sits at the top of this list, not because it tests worst on any single measure, but because of what its history exposes about the entire system. Multiple independent lab screenings have detected lead in MAC formulations across years of retesting. Consumer advocacy organizations have submitted formal petitions to the FDA, specifically citing MAC product lines and requesting that a lead limit be established. The FDA's response has been to maintain its position that detected levels pose no concern at modeled use rates. MAC's response has been to point to regulatory compliance, which is accurate and, given that no limit exists, completely meaningless as a safety assurance. You've been trusting a system that decided the absence of a rule was the same as the presence of safety. That's the macro loop this entire video has been building toward. It is not a MAC problem. It is not a Maybelline problem or a Revlon problem. It is a structural regulatory gap that makes every product on this list legal regardless of what testing finds inside it. Here is what the rule actually looks like in practice. The FDA's 2012 study detected lead in all 400 lipsticks tested. The agency modeled risk at 1 application per day. Most women apply 2 to 5 times. The model did not account for someone who starts wearing lipstick at 14 and continues for 50 years. Cumulative lifetime exposure was not part of the safety determination. The conclusion was no concern. You can decide what that conclusion is worth. So, what does genuinely clean look like? 3 products with non-detectable or negligible lead levels in third-party screening, no endocrine-disrupting preservatives, and full ingredient transparency. Number 3. Ilia Color Block Lipstick. Ilia publishes its full ingredient deck and voluntarily tests finished products for heavy metals. Color Block uses organic, plant-derived waxes and pigments sourced through audited supply chains. Credo Beauty, one of the most rigorous third-party clean beauty certifiers in the U.S. market, has vetted the line. The color range is narrower than mass-market options. That is what honest trade-off disclosure looks like. Number 2. Kosas Weightless Lip Color. Kosas has undergone third-party vetting through the Environmental Working Group's Skin Deep database, with several shades scoring in the lowest risk tier. The formula contains no parabens, no synthetic fragrance, and none of the colorant families most associated with heavy metal contamination. It is consistently cited by users with high daily wear frequency as the first clean product that matched conventional wear performance without compromise. Number 1. RMS Beauty Wild with Desire. RMS Beauty was founded by a makeup artist who spent years reviewing toxicology reports on conventional cosmetics before building an alternative. Wild with Desire uses raw, food-grade pigments and carries documented heavy metal screening results that are available to consumers on request. It consistently ranks at the top of independent clean lipstick audits, not because of marketing, because of the testing record. This is what the data, not the branding, points to. The rule is simpler than the list makes it sound. Avoid products with no third-party heavy metal screening. Avoid formulas with parabens or undisclosed fragrance. Look for brands that publish testing documentation rather than pointing to regulatory compliance as a substitute for it. And before you go, everything you just saw in lipstick is even more concentrated in lip liner, where the same pigment families sit in a waxy, stay-put base that extends wear time and absorption contact. That breakdown is the next video, and the numbers are worse. You'll want to see it.